As we rang in the 6th month of 2025, wow, where has the time gone? It came in on a Sunday, so it wasn't necessarily fair to assess the landscape and take a look around at the corporate response to this very sacred month. We'd have to wait until, the first business day of the month, June 2nd, comes around to really get a lay of the land. And well, as the day went on and very few people decided to update their profile picture or their banners or any of their bios, I think we have finally come to the conclusion that this very sacred month, or at least the way that it was being promoted over the past few years, last year was, well, actually kind of similar to the way that it's been rung in this year. Not too many people are paying attention. And in fact, we're starting to see a bit of a reversal, a bit of a fallback towards the more traditional holidays and maybe even a more conventional assessment that, wow, it's June, we should probably be happy that it's, kind of nice outside and there's not too many freaks in Speedos, shaking their crap in front of kids, at least right now. We're going to have to wait probably until next week and the week after when the parades start up. But yeah, as it's pointed out here, not even Google's hopping in on the trend, okay? And the fact of the matter is, yeah, they're promoting Father's Day of all things. But really? Okay, I find that to be very interesting. And Grums, I don't know if this is his collage or if this is from somebody else, but yeah, just simply looking around the gaming space, quite possibly over the past couple of years, most shameful, or shameless rather, when it comes to promoting this type of crap. And like Naughty Dog, CD Projekt Red, Obsidian, Ubisoft Montreal, okay, and Xbox, BioWare? You kidding me? BioWare hasn't even hopped in on this, and yeah, he's right with his assessment. It's Monday, June the 2nd. Okay, well, actually, it's Tuesday now, but you get where I'm going with this. Can you see what's missing? I can't find a single one that has flipped to their banner to Pride. Total chud victory, at least in marketing. Studio staff will still need work. And he follows this up, okay, it's like a handful of studios did make the rainbow post or in-game item, but it's been pushed so far back, compared to last year. Well, last year, I seem to recall, and perhaps maybe it's, just slipping my mind a little bit, but I thought that they took a very concerted step back. I'm sure that there were probably more pages that were still going in with the Rainbow Mafia, but I think everything peaked in on and around 2023, especially with the Bud Light stuff, and since then everybody's been looking around going, yeah, we don't really care if you're gay or not, like none of this stuff really matters, because honestly, that's where I'm at, okay? I don't give a shit what you do in the privacy of your own bedroom. If it's between two consenting adults, go for it, okay? I just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to think about it, honestly. Like maybe it's just with just getting older, it comes to a certain age where you don't want to think about two different people swapping fluids, okay? I'm to a point now where I barely even want to see attractive chicks pop up on my screen because it's just, going to the end point of it's like, oh my god, how much of a hassle is this going to be in the long run? But that's just me doing my dirt and my, years ago. And at this point in time, it's like I'd just be happy with like a cheerful 6. It just doesn't give me that much trouble. But I digress. I think everybody will eventually get to that point. Well, of course, there are still some clingers and some hangers on, right? Like you got Bungie via Destiny 2. Oh yeah, hey, we're launching a bunch of gay assets, even though a couple weeks back we got caught red-handed stealing a bunch of art assets. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and flip this stuff that we may or may not have lifted. So get excited for that because it's Pride Month, I guess, still at this point in time. But yeah, the vibe shift is all over the place. Pride fatigue is real. Yeah, what you do in your own time is that's for you to decide. And I'm not even down with this whole, oh my god, you gotta just kick out the T and the Q plus from that. Take out the T from the LGBT, and that's where all the insanity will end. It's like, no, man. I don't run around declaring myself a hair-pulling or choking Canadian, okay? If you identify as a slap-happy American, you go for it, man. I don't give a flying fuck if you're straight, gay, or get your rocks off driving past the SPCA. It's fucking whatever, dude. So to have an entire month dedicated to what you want to fucking jerk off into, I don't fucking care. I don't want to think about it, and I don't want to have children exposed to your hedonistic impulses. And now that we've potentially come around to that reality for a vast majority of people, where, yeah, you take a look at the companies, and they're always just going to go, okay? They're always just going to go to the path of least resistance because they're staffed with all of the interns that think that, their sexuality and their own intrinsic and immutable characteristics are the only thing remarkable about them. Therefore, they need to be pushed to the forefront. They thought that that would be the way to achieve the greatest amount of market share, when in actuality, that is the most divisive and segregating marketing material that you could possibly put forward. And now that those people potentially have all been laid off, or at least enough of them where they can no longer raise that much of a stink, and now that we have examples of companies standing up against those perpetually online freaks, they kind of know that, oh yeah, if we just take a step back, if we don't overtly come forward with all of this stuff, even though they still think this crap, okay? Because I don't need to have anything that I believe in, my lifestyle choices, my hobbies, or my ideas reinforced by a soulless corporation in order to feel validated, in order to feel seen. I like what I like, and if you don't like it too, well, go fuck yourself. That's been my opinion for a very long time, and that's the way that I've comported myself forever. And I do believe that that's the way that a lot of people also can handle and carry themselves, which is why this more mundane approach to June in 2025, I don't know if there's ever going to be a way to tangibly quantify the reaction to this, but I think more people are going to be receptive to a lack of capitulating to those freak ideologues. And I'm not talking about the people that would find themselves under the rainbow umbrella. If you like Liberace or driving U-Haul trucks, or maybe you want a taste from the other side of the buffet, I don't give a shit, man. You go ahead and do you. If your favorite chair has a fist on the seat, whatever floats your boat, bro. I just don't think that that type of stuff needs an entire month of recognition. Nor do I really think that there needs to be a national recognition for, well, really any pet ideology that's out there, if we're going to be completely honest. Having a specific day for veterans that have kept your country safe and free and functional, that's a totally different story. But if you're a part of a little special interest group and you want to go ahead and celebrate that aspect of it, go ahead and do it. That's totally fine. Go back to having a Pride Day, a Pride weekend. You can go ahead and have that. That was fine, but they encroached a little bit too far. And everybody hopped on that bandwagon at the corporate level. And now them walking it back and seeing what they're replacing it with, I find it to be very interesting as well, because here we have Ubisoft. Wow, it's funny what a couple of successive bombs and hundreds of millions of dollars lost, and what 25% investment from the Chinese Communist Party will go ahead and make you promote, because in recent years, and I'm pretty sure as late as last year, oh, they definitely had the rainbow avatars. They would have had pronouns for their new operator, but this time around, things are a little bit different. They're under new management, therefore they're pushing a different tune. Ubisoft acknowledges that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. No mention for Pride so far. And yeah, as it sits right now, and I went through both the Ubisoft and the Rainbow Six account, and yeah, but nothing, at least at time of recording. This could, of course, change by the morning, but as it sits right now, yeah, that headline is still a true statement. In a notable departure from the past few years, Ubisoft has kicked off the month of June by spotlighting Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, with no public mention to Pride Month across its major brands as of at least June the 2nd. On Saturday, the official X account for Rainbow Six Siege, one of Ubisoft's flagship live service titles, yes, one of the three that ended up getting segmented off with that 10-cent investment, Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry. Interesting, right? And it's going to be funny because at the end of the week, we got Summer Games Fest, something that I'm unironically looking forward to, mostly because this is going to be the earliest, and I think I've been talking about it for a while. Like, I think that there's a strong possibility we get a firm tease for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And if that happens, oh boy, am I going to just be over the moon, because for as much as I really like and I respect and I believe in the stuff that I talk about on the channel, when it comes to something that I'm ultra passionate about, oh yeah, Part 3, like, I'm just going to be over the moon if we have the opportunity to talk about that. So if that gets announced, you might see an extra video over the weekend, but I digress. Going back to this because I find this very interesting. Okay, so the Rainbow Six account made this post, and instead of just reading it, and I get the post pulled up here because it's not that difficult. And yeah, it's strange, right? Because it's like very tastefully done. Okay, it's okay to take off the mask. Strength and vulnerability are not mutually exclusive. Yeah, they're two different aspects, but it depends on how you want to express both of those. We can quibble a little bit, but June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. We like to encourage you to reach out to your friends, ask them how they're doing, pick up a game together, look out for one another. You matter. Wow, I think that's really nice. Okay. It's also, and the more that I read it, actually, the more I'm kind of coming around to this, because it's doing this one thing, okay? Because outside of whenever corporate normally likes to weasel their way into the whole, we really also take men's mental health seriously. It's normally, the clarion call for post-wall women who want to just get a little hit of attention. Like they'll say, oh yeah, men's mental health matters. Oh, men's issues and men's rights. Oh yeah, we should probably take a look at that because there is such a significant imbalance. It's like, oh, cool. That's cool that you somehow came to that revelation now that you're getting closer to 40. It's very strange that you come around to that. But no, acknowledging that men's mental health, the way that you deal with that is totally different than the way that you deal with women's mental health, because guess what? Men and women are different. That's all right. That's totally fine. That's totally fair. And as such, you deal with both of those issues very differently. Women talk, men do. So pick up a game together, look out for one another. Yeah, if you think your buddy's down for a little bit, yeah, you guys do something. You get involved, you get engaged. That's the way that men work through issues, okay? Is there going to be a certain level of depression or sadness that a guy just deals with, okay? There's just this overarching, underlying, however the hell you want to put it, okay? Just aspect of being overwhelmed or what have you, but there's a certain amount of responsibility. There's things that still need to be done in a guy. Hey, man, that's just something that you're never going to get recognized for. That's something that you're just going to be taken granted for. You were expected to do that stuff, whether rain or shine. That's the burden of being a man. Might sound harsh, but that's just the way that it is. And by surrounding yourself with other men, good men, competent men, they understand this burden and this level of responsibility, and they can help you navigate through the tough times, the overwhelming moments. And that's why guys don't need to sit down and discuss their problems. They can go out there. They can work on a project. They can play a game together. And that's the best way for them to maneuver through those tough issues. So shout out to Rainbow Six or whoever the hell wrote this out for, I don't know, almost understanding it. Or at least when it comes to corporate speak, that's about the closest that I've seen it approached appropriately. In years past, Ubisoft and there are many subsidiaries, especially live service titles like Rainbow Six, have prominently featured Pride Month branding, themed cosmetics, social media banners, and the developer statements throughout June. And so far, nothing. For instance, back in 2023, where we ended up having peak Rainbow F-slur shit, Ubisoft launched the Together in Pride campaign. Interesting. Okay, emphasizing solidarity and inclusion. This initiative was spearheaded by UB Proud, the and included internal events, education, resources, and community engagement activities. Additionally, Ubisoft incorporated Pride representation within its games. I forgot this existed when I said the non-binary or an operator with pronouns. I legitimately forgot about this. A notable example of this was the introduction of Osa, the first biological male identifying as female in a Rainbow Six Siege. And what a difference 2 years makes, because you go from pushing out this type of absurd propaganda to a rather tasteful statement targeting it's also an acknowledgement that, you take a look at the guys who are going to be playing Rainbow Six Siege, and you realize that it's the guys playing Rainbow Six Siege. It's not your fringe freaks that just want to see rainbows and ideologies pushed everywhere. It's just a group of friends wanting to get together and fuck up another friend group that's out there. Guys are pretty simple, but we also face some pretty complex issues, so 2025 has been off to a strange start, and now that we've hit the midway point, things appear to be turning around. Pride is dead, summer is here, and things are looking up. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.